Hi, team. It's time for the Shift Show where we shift one small habit. If you haven't watched in a long time, then you may not know where Shift Show came from. It actually came out of the pandemic. I was in a conversation with a fellow colleague. We were talking about how crazy it was during the pandemic and how things were like a complete shit show. Why are these in? I'm not using them. And that's ADHD for you. So anyway, life was like a bit of a shit show, and it was really frustrating for many people and very tragic for people. And I said, it's been very interesting to see how much we've had to change in order to deal with it. So I said, instead of calling it a shit show, let's call it a shift show, where we've just had to shift some things. And some great things came out of that for me. I mean, I was very blessed. No one in my family got very, very ill. Uh, Almost everybody in my family at one point or another has actually had COVID. We've all been very lucky. I did have long COVID. I seem to be getting on the other side of that, which is great. That was in July of 2022 that I got COVID. But today is not at all about the pandemic or COVID, just telling you why I called this the Shift Show. Today, we're going to talk about shifting one thing, which is still on the theme of building habits. And as you can see, the month is winding down, which means next month we're going to have a different theme, except that next Thursday on the Shift Show, I want to be able to show you how I did on the habit of using the Calm app in the month of March. And it's not quite the end of the month yet, so I will be showing that next Thursday. Then we'll switch to a new theme for April. And I haven't 100% made a decision yet on what that's going to be, but I'm thinking it might be around project management and how you keep track of your tasks, because I'm getting very involved in an app called Notion and finding it super helpful. So stay tuned for that. I'll probably do a bit of a preview on that next week when I show this, how I did with the habits with the Calm app. So today we're going to talk about accountability and having an accountability buddy, group, partners, you name it. I don't love to exercise, but I know I need to. I have to move my body. It's really good for me. It's great for my brain too. It gets me out of my body and out of my brain and into my body. And so what I've done when I was first building the habit of exercising, I was exercising early in the morning. I find that the best time of day for me to start a new habit is first thing in the morning. So if I can do that, that's super helpful. Eventually, in spring of, I don't remember which year, probably 2021, but I'm not entirely sure, I fell down the stairs, badly injured both of my ankles. Actually, my Achilles tendons were hyperextended, so I was in a lot of pain. At the same, probably a month or two before that happened, my neighbor had fallen and broken her ankle and badly. And the two of us needed to exercise and get back our strength, et cetera. And we started walking together. And initially we'd like maybe do one loop of the neighborhood. She's got a senior dog, so this is really good for the dog too. And the three of us go out and walk pretty much every day. It's raining today. I don't think we're going to get out and walk today. Plus, I have physical therapy in a little while. Physical therapy this time around is for vertigo, and I have a pinched nerve, which is causing the vertigo. So not at all related to being able to walk or not able to walk. I can walk just great, which is wonderful. So I have an accountability buddy, and that means, like, say today she's going to walk, but I can't. She knows that I'm probably going to ask her, did you walk today? So having an accountability buddy is an amazing way to keep up your motivation, or, to replace, well, maybe a little of both. I was going to say to replace motivation when you're doing habits. So where that all came out of was one of my clients said, what do I do when I don't have motivation to start a habit? And if you know much about ADHD and the fact that my clients all have it, most of my clients have ADHD, motivation is like task initiation, super difficult for our ADHD brains. I can tell you, I can like procrastinate the hell out of anything I'm really not motivated to do. In fact, I gave myself a little reward today and said, I will do the shift show as soon as I pay all my bills. So I just paid all my bills so that I could come and do the shift show because I love doing the shift show and I hate paying bills. So here we are. That is done. Hooray. I did a reward thing, which I think there was a past episode of ShiFtShow talking about rewards. And if there's not, then I'll put one. I'll talk about it next Thursday. I'll double check all the information that we've put out there. So accountability buddy helps people, especially people who have uniquely wired brains, neurodivergent people, to get things done, to get started on a habit, etc., is to have an accountability buddy. Judith Kohlberg from the world of organizing calls this body doubling, where you are matched up, and you may or may not be doing the same thing. Actually, it's not exactly the same thing as accountability buddy. Let me rephrase that. I'm going to go back a second. So accountability buddy is someone who helps hold you accountable, and they can help hold you accountable in a variety of ways. One is you could actually do the activity together. Another is you could text each other in the morning, say, I'm going to work on this task. Text me back at 3 p.m. and make sure I did it. Another, I've heard this done, is if you don't get something done, then I'm going to send a charity check to the place you hate the most. That's a major driver. I've seen that in action. It was incredible. That person was like, I'm getting this done before the deadline. Another way to hold another person accountable is to be in a group of people. And I actually run something called the Get More Done Accountability Group. It is we meet in something called Productivity Power Hour. We meet for 1 hour, 4 mornings a week. And during that time, we all get on the computer, onto Zoom, say what we're going to work on. Then we go off and work for 50 minutes in one giant sort of Pomodoro, right? If you don't know the Pomodoro method, it's like based off the tomato timer concept that it's actually the Pomodoro method, and you can call it tomato timer. Is you set the timer for 25 minutes, take a 5-minute break, work another 25 minutes. So it's based on the idea of sprints, but my team all really enjoys doing 50-minute sprints and really getting focused in, which is great because with ADHD, if we get focused in on something, it's amazing. So we do that for 50 minutes. Then I call time. Everybody says what they worked on, and then we go about our day. And it's a great way to get stuff done. And normally I would have been paying bills during Power Hour, but I was wrapped up in some other things for the business. So paying bills wasn't as important. It was very important, but it wasn't as important as what I needed to get done this morning during Power Hour. All right. So that's accountability buddies. Body doubling. Body doubling was coined by Judith Kohlberg in her book on organizing. And what it means is that you have someone who is there. They could be co-working with you or working on something entirely different. So actually what I was talking about before in the Get More Done accountability group, that's co-working. That's also body doubling. Body doubling is often used in the world of organizing because people just don't want to get it done. And I am a quintessential example of this. I also don't really care to organize my own space, especially things like kitchens, bathrooms. I love helping my clients organize their offices, and beyond that, not so much. Tomorrow morning, my gal who is my body double, who I pay, she's a recent college grad saving up for a house. So she comes over for about 3 hours on a Saturday morning, at least once a month. I really commit to this. And what we do is we get some areas of the place organized. Well, it is March 28th. We are screaming up on the tax deadline of April 15th. And so tomorrow we will be doing a lot of tax type paperwork, dreading it. It is my least favorite task on the planet, which is why I'm doing it with her. That's accountability. That's body doubling. Accountability is that deadline that's coming up, knowing that I need to get that information to my accountant and get our taxes done. So I really strongly recommend it. I think it's fabulous. By the way, I will use rewards there too. So remember I said that rewards are one of the things that's great for helping with habits. So my reward, once we're done organizing all the paperwork, This is the crazy reward, folks. I'm sorry, but it's not even going to sound like a reward. But for me, it'll be great. We're going to bring down some of my spring clothes and start to transfer out some of the really heavy winter sweaters and kind of move towards spring. So maybe the reward is knowing that spring is coming. And also, it's kind of like fun to shop your closet and get to see the clothes you wore last season and you haven't worn since then. And I'm really ready for a little more spring color. You can tell by what I'm wearing today. If you're watching, if you're just listening, then I'll tell you I'm wearing an ivory blouse that has purple and greens and pinks and a teal green sweater to match. So that is accountability in a nutshell. So today's way to shift is, if you're trying to start a new habit, is to find an accountability buddy. Or join my Get More Done accountability group if you like. But I will just say I am happy for you to get an accountability buddy, no matter whether it's with me or with someone else. It really does make a difference in helping you stay motivated, initiate a task, get started, get the task done, finish the task. It's just amazing how accountability buddies can help us in both building habits and getting things done. Okay. If you want to see more of this kind of information, you can check out my blog at katherineavery.com. I have lots of articles in there. If you're watching me on Facebook or LinkedIn, I have a YouTube channel. That's @ why do I never remember the word for @ Can I just look this up? I say the same problem every single week. At Catherine Avery. You can also find me on LinkedIn, same name, Facebook as well. I would love to connect with you, learn more about you, hear if there's any way I can help you. In the meantime, today's habit, you're going to shift. When you're starting a new habit, you're going to get an accountability buddy to help you stay on track. Or if you don't want to do a habit today because you're not in the mood, pick a task and have an accountability buddy for that. Okay. I'm wishing you all the best. Have an amazing rest of the week. There's not much left in it. The weekend is coming. Oh, for those who celebrate, happy Easter.